Alrighty, welcome to a tutorial on how to create these, a model of your aircraft using the DXF files from MachUpX. So I'm just going to be doing an example of a traditional aircraft with horizontal stabilizer, main wing, vertical stabilizer. So open up a new part file, select a plane, doesn't matter what plane, and then you're going to come up here to Insert, and do DXF. And then you're going to select the Airfoil DXF file of the first wing segment you're going to do. So for example, we're going to do the horizontal stabilizer first. So we're going to import that as 3D. Generally, and the default is generally in inches. If you really are, if you have SolidWorks in a different unit than you export from MachUpX, you can come in here and change the unit to something else. But once again, it's almost always in inches, at least for me. Okay, so you click Finish, and that imports those curves. You can zoom out and look at them. So those are the airfoils that make up the horizontal stabilizer. So what we're going to do is we're going to select those and create a 3D sketch from those using the Convert Entities tool. We're going to exit out of that. And then I'm going to hide these and add them to a new folder. So we're going to just call this HStab left AF. And then we're going to hide them from view just so we don't get confused when we're lofting later on. So now we select another plane and we're going to import the guide curves DXF file. And once again, we're going to import it as 3D. So it's not too exciting because there's no twist or sweep or dihedral or anything in this or taper. But it works the exact same way. I'm going to do the same thing, add it to a folder, guide curves. Okay, and now we're ready for the loft. So now we can come up here to Features, Lofted Boss Base. Now we're going to select the outlines. We want to make sure it's a closed loop. We select that guy, and then we can select the guide curves, and that lofts it for us. And you can see our horizontal stabilizer right there. Okay, so I'll go through it one more time, two more times, just so you get an idea. So we're going to do the same thing with the main wing, import 3D. You can see those airfoils right there. Now I'm going to add these to a folder. And I just realized that I misnamed this. This should be left. Okay, and so now we're going to add these to the sketch for entities. Now we can hide these. We'll exit this sketch. And then we'll have to bring in the guide curves. Those are right here. 3D, finish. Okay. I'll add these to a folder. Okay, so now we're going to loft that guy to this guy. Okay. So that gives you a pretty good idea. So now I'll just do the vertical stabilizer. Well, I'll just show you it. I mean, it's the same concept for any wing segment. You just import it, and then it brings it in. So you can see where it would stick that vertical stabilizer right there. And if you're using a symmetrical planform, everything's symmetric across the let's see, SolidWorks, it's the XZ plane. You can just mirror it across. Makes your life easier. And then we can add in, I believe it's the top plane. And that makes your life easier a little bit. Okay, so I wanted to finish up with a note about, so if you notice that you're kind of having some problems, if the wing segment isn't really following the contour that you were hoping for, increasing the number of guide curves helps out a lot. So anywhere from 2 to 8 is really good. 2 if you don't really have much of a change. But for example, let's see. Save this. And then let's open this guy. So if you've got some crazy shapes, or we'll come back to this one, or if you've got some weird lofting that you want to happen, you're going to want to have more than just a few guide curves in there. So for example, this one, I've got 8 to provide that shape in there. Okay, and one final note on a pointed wings. So that means chord of 0, in other words, a taper ratio of 0, or a triangular wingtips, however you want to say it. So what you'll notice is when you import them, and I'll just start this guy from scratch. We'll get rid of this loft. So what you'll notice is if I were to import this this airfoil, the airfoils for this vertical tail right here, again, so let's select the plane, and then let's go to this guy and bring in the airfoil. You'll notice that that worked, and it should have. Let me make sure I'm doing the right one. Oh, that worked. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so you'll get this error if the chord is incorrect, or excuse me, if the chord is 0. So all this means is, so we had 6 guide curves, so our airfoil was split up into 6 pieces, and it's saying 6 entities could not be imported because it can't import a spline that's just a bunch of 0 points. So you import it, doesn't matter. I'll delete these since they're already there. But what you'll want to do is, instead of creating the 3D sketch first before you import the guide curves, you're going to want to import the guide curves and then come into this 3D sketch, and you're going to add a point. So use the point command, add a point right there at wherever the chord is 0. And so what that's going to do is it's going to make it so that when you loft, you can loft to the point. Okay? So yeah, make sure you use the guide curves. You may notice with a point that it might not you might not be able to see this yellow example, but it'll show up once you put in all the guide curves. And also, it's generally good to go around like a pincer movement, I guess is the easiest way to describe it. Start at like the leading edge or the trailing edge, and then go upper surface, lower surface, upper surface, lower surface, or something like that. Just because I've noticed it's the best way to make sure the guide curves get incorporated without causing errors. And if you do get a couple errors, you can try drop in some of the guide curves, but not too many, and that sometimes solves that problem too. So, yeah, good luck.